Howdy YouTube, an interesting figure review for you today, and that's because we're taking a look at the DC collectibles as part of the DC Comics Mattel Multiverse line. We've got the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. Talk about a title intro, by the way. We've got Batman. Straight off the bat, I've got to say that Ben Affleck is my favourite Batman of all time. I know the movie gets a lot of critique, a lot of criticism. It was far from perfect, yes. For some reason, don't ask me why, I like it. It's like the black sheep of the family that you still love because it's a family member, even though it's generally accepted that it's no good. That's how I feel about Batman v Superman. I love the movie. I can accept its flaws. I accept the criticisms people say, but for some reason, I still enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to getting a copy of it on Blu-ray. With that being said, I'm interested to see this figure. This is the first multiverse Mattel figure I've picked up. I've got it more just because scaling, it looks like it will fit in with some of the DC collectibles figures. At least, fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping. It probably is not going to fit, knowing my luck, but I think it's worth a shot. In terms of the Batman design, I loved it. I thought the suit was great. I know that the fat bat logo obviously is a tribute to the Dark Knight Part 1 and 2 series, and there's now a third part which I'm actually reading the comic, which is well worth checking out, by the way, if you're a Batman or Superman fan for that matter. But again, the Ben Affleck Batman, I think he just played the role to a T. Every scene that had Batman in that movie, I think, was substantially better than the other scenes. The design, I love the darkness of the costume. I thought it was a different twist on Batman, having him, kill. I didn't really quite get why they went with that choice initially, and then after, seeing things like you see the Robin suit, and it came out that, Robin's dead in that universe, and that's sort of what pushed Batman over the edge. Things like that I think are really nice. I'm interested to see the extended theatrical cut that wasn't released in cinemas with the DVDs coming out and the Blu-rays, just to see what stuff they cut from the film. It reminded me a bit of The Dark Knight Rises, where they sort of crammed too much into the movie. It's a 2.5-hour film that really could have been a 4-hour film, and I get that audiences won't sit through it, etc., etc., but sometimes it's better to break things up and tell a complete story rather than trying to set up all of these sequel movies and have all this other just garbage. In terms of packaging, comes in the standard DC Multiverse packaging. It does look quite good. The other Batman figures we've got is obviously the armored Batman, and there is a post-apocalyptic future Batman figure that I really want to get my hands on, and I probably will, to be honest with you, if this scales well with my DC collectibles figures. What's happening with DC collectibles, I have no clue. If they want a license to print money, make movie merchandise. It's not simple. Give us figures from the 1989 Batman. Give us a 7-inch scale Joker or Batman or Mr. Freeze or Poison Ivy or Bane or whoever. Give us movie figures. Give us a Dark Knight Heath Ledger or the Scarecrow. Give us Bane from the third film in the Nolan trilogy. There's so much movie stuff they can do, and for some reason they've been really poor lately with their figures. And I'll give you an example. The Arkham Knight Red Hood figure took ages to come out. The DC Collectibles Reverse Flash, that has been pushed back for so long. That was supposed to come out early this year. We're now mid-year, and it still hasn't come out, and it keeps getting pushed back, which for someone who's pre-ordered it gets really frustrating. That's enough of my rant, I guess. Let's take a look at Mattel's figure. The side of the packaging has a nice shot of Ben Affleck there. The Collect and Connect 8 pieces build you a grapple gun. That is a cool-looking grapple gun. Just putting it out there. I know, the more modern, futuristic kind of weapon designs some people really love. I prefer this. It reminds me of something Batman would have in the 30s, to be honest with you. Other figures in the set, we've got Henry Cavill's Superman, we've got Batman, which is this figure, Wonder Woman, Armored Batman, there's also Aquaman, there's the Bat Creature. I don't know why they went with that option as opposed to one of the evil ghouls from that post-apocalyptic future scene, but anyway, that's what they went with. So some good figures. Again, if this scales well, I'll probably go back and pick up some more. Otherwise, I will give them a miss, if I'm honest. The read-up on the back says DC Comics Multiverse figures are inspired by comic-based, character-rich entertainment sources, such as movies and video games. These figures are meticulously designed to be truly authentic, celebrating the many universes of entertainment the many universes of entertaining DC Comics material. That's a pretty shitty read-up on the back. It would have been nice if they had something about Batman, to be honest with you. Anyway, let's get this opened up. Very quickly, just to get out of the way, there's the base for the grapple gun. It feels really cheap and doesn't look very good. The actual grapple gun itself, though, looks fantastic. Okay, and here we've got Batman opened up and out of packaging. As he is, he seems pretty good, to be honest with you. He definitely feels much cheaper than, say, a DC Collectibles figure. But at least, for, price point, actually, he was about the same as a DC Collectibles figure because this guy wasn't released in mass retail stores. I had to get him from my local comic shop. They charged me a fair bit for this guy. So he's the same price as a DC Collectibles figure, but I guess he feels a lot cheaper, if that makes sense. But back to the initial point I was going to make, he seems like a good figure. Okay, and I can confirm with great sadness that no, he is definitely a 6-inch scale figure and will not fit in with your Arkham ones. The head, yes, you can definitely, like the head on that, looks like it should be on that body. That head looks really thin. Overall, though, that destroys this figure. And scaling it is off, which is a real shame. That's quite annoying, to be honest with you. I'm hoping there is some way I can take the feet off here and just add in some extra boots to jack up his size. That would work well. That would be cool, actually. I might legitimately look into that. So yeah, that is a bit of a bummer, if I'm completely honest. And scaling-wise, you can see he's about the same, if not a little bit shorter, than some of the WWE scaled figures. And here we've got him against the significantly cheaper Armoured Batman figure, which has very limited articulation, but it's the same height. And again, that's why, pet peeve, I really don't like the 6-inch scaled figures. I am a fan of the 7-inch. It's what DC Collectibles always have been. I think it separates them from the Marvel Select figures. Yes, it's nice to have figures that you can all have the same height and same size. I 100% fully get that. And I guess that's why you've got the Multiverse line, which tends to have more characters and come out a lot more and be more reliable and dependable than the DC Collectibles line. But at the same time, I definitely prefer the DC Collectibles series of figures. So that is a little bit of a bummer, at least for me. Okay, now in terms of detail, I'll bring it forward so you guys can see. There is some nice detail on this. No doubt about that. Mattel did a good job. The helmet has like a weird kind of grain to it. It looks like someone has painted some styrofoam black. That's probably the only thing I can think of that it looks like. But it's cool. I mean, it's got some texture and everything like that. Ball-jointed head, of course. He's got ball-jointed arms, swivel in the bicep, bend at the elbow, swivel in the wrist. It's basically same as like a basic wrestling figure articulation. Ab crunch, but it is a little bit restricted. Swivel in the waist, that's good. Then he has this weird leg joint, which some of the newer DC Collectibles figures have as well. Some people have been, really critical of this joint. Personally, it doesn't bother me all that much. They move forward and back, and then also out and in. So you can have Batman, doing some sort of flying kick in the air. There we go. Which is cool. Hang on, get his guard up. Nice. Actually, yes, there you go. That's something, there's some incentive to pick up this figure. You can have a flying sidekick Batman. Check that out. Boom. I like that. The articulation doesn't bother me as much as it does bother some other people. As lame as it's going to sound, I actually really love the figure now, just because it can do that. It does have a swivel above the knee, which is a little weird. Normally they have it in the thigh region. Swivel in the knee, nothing in the boot, obviously, and then a swivel in the ankle. So a decent range of articulation, certainly more than you get in your standard action figure, but again, less than you'd get in, say, DC collectibles. Overall, if you're a fan of the Ben Affleck Batman, then yes, this is a must-have figure, especially if you collect a lot of other stuff, then yes, I recommend getting him. If you don't collect any other stuff, you just collect DC-type figures, wait, 6, 12 months, however long it's going to take for them to eventually release it, and get yourselves the DC collectibles. No doubt that will be a lot better. But in the meantime, this is definitely a really cool figure, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this review.